All right, let's finish up with our other case. Here's another system. And again, what I've gone ahead and done is I've graphed it. And it might be a little hard to see in the video, but what I've got here is one line in black and then a second line in orange, and they're directly on top of each other. And so pretty much they intersect everywhere. Every single point along these two lines is a solution because they're shared by both graphs. So this is a case where we get infinitely many solutions. All right, but again, what we care about is what would this look like if we weren't doing the graph. So let's move the graph out of the way. Let's also erase these points. All right, so let's say we're doing this problem. Now, I think based on what we've been doing, I'm noticing the x's line up, the y's line up, the equal signs, the numbers. I'm thinking about doing elimination here. So I think what I'll do is this. I'm going to multiply this top equation by 6. What I do to one side, I do it to the other. Let me move this out of the way. All right, so what I would get is 12x minus 24y equals 60. All right, which will make my x's match up. So I'll just recopy this one here. Negative 12x plus 24y equals negative 60. All right, and I'm going to eliminate x by, let's see, 12x, negative 12x. They're opposites. Opposites will naturally cancel out if we add them together. All right, so 12x plus negative 12x disappears as we planned. But then here, negative 24y plus positive 24y also cancels each other out. So on the left side of the equal sign, we just get 0. Now, if I continue to the right, 60 plus negative 60, well, that's also 0. So again, this is something we've seen in Chapter 1. This idea that we're working on an equation and we're trying to solve, for this case, we were trying to eliminate x and solve for y. But in the process of solving, even y disappeared. Okay, so our variable that we were solving for disappeared, but the difference is this makes sense. 0 does equal 0. And so this means infinitely many solutions. All right, so once again, to recap, there's 3 possibilities. One we've seen plenty of, getting one solution. All right, but for a situation where we get no solutions, what happens is, as we solve for our different variables, the variable itself vanishes, and what's left over doesn't make any sense, which means it's a no solution problem. Our third case, infinitely many solutions. The two lines are basically the same line on top of each other, which means there's an infinite number of solutions. And what we find in those systems is that as we solve it, same thing. The variable disappears, but what we get does make mathematical sense, which is infinitely many solutions. If you've forgotten any of this, go back to Chapter 1, because we did look at cases like this. We weren't looking at systems, we were just looking at plain equations, but we had the same situation of no solution and infinitely many solutions.